You probably don't need a 5-year plan. You need a 90-day experiment. I'm Andrea Shipley, and in this video, I'm walking you through the 3-month lifestyle design experiment, a practical framework for strategic lifestyle change. If you haven't watched videos 1 through 3 in this series yet, go back and start there because this video builds on everything that we've already discussed. Let's dive in. So why 3 months? Well, because it's long enough to see results, but short enough to stay committed. Research on habit formation and behavior change shows that 90 days is like a sweet spot for creating sustainable change without overwhelming your nervous system. A study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. So 90 days gives you time to build momentum and to see results. Plus, 3 months is 1 quarter. It's a business cycle. It's manageable. You're not committing to the rest of your life. You're committing to one experiment for 90 days. And here's the key. You're not trying to change everything. You're testing one strategic shift that moves you closer to your North Star, your personal values. One shift, 90 days, real results. Here's the framework I use with my clients. It's called the Lifestyle Design Mastery Process, and it has 6 steps. Step 1, clarify and decide. This is your North Star work from video 2. You get crystal clear on what you're designing for, not what you think you should want, but what you actually want. If you didn't feel like you wanted to escape from your life, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What are your true values? Not the ones you inherited, not the shoulds, but the ones that are authentically yours. This step takes about a week. You're journaling, reflecting, and answering hard questions. You're deciding what's the one thing I'm going to shift in the next 90 days. Maybe it's negotiating a 4-day work week or location independence. Maybe it's setting boundaries around evenings and weekends so that your family time is honored. Maybe it's ensuring that your work life doesn't hijack your physical and emotional well-being. Maybe it's launching a side project you've been postponing that makes you feel more alive and engaged. One shift, a clear decision. Step 2, design and strategize. So now you map out how. This isn't wishful thinking. This is strategic planning. If you want to negotiate remote work, what's your pitch? What data do you need? What's the right time to ask? If you want to set boundaries, what are the specific boundaries? How will you communicate and reinforce them? And what will you say when people push back? If you want to test a new location, what are the logistics? Housing, budget, timelines? You're reverse engineering your North Star into actionable steps and low-cost experiments. This step takes about a week. You're researching, planning, preparing. Step 3 is internal personal training. And here's where most people skip and why they fail. External change requires internal capacity. If you negotiate Fridays off, but you feel guilty every Friday, you haven't actually changed anything. If you set boundaries, but cave the first time someone pushes back, nothing shifts. This step is about building the internal muscles that you need to sustain and enjoy the external change. Mindset work, nervous system regulation, identity shifts, belief rewiring. This happens alongside steps 4 and 5. It's ongoing, not a one-time thing. You're working with a coach, therapist, or mentor who helps you see your blind spots and build new capacity. Because here's the truth. You can't see your own blind spots. That's why they're blind spots and why you'll want help for this part. Step 4 is right action. This is where you take the leap. You have the conversation with your boss, you set the boundary with your colleague, you book the trip, you launch the project, you initiate the experiment. This is where theory becomes reality. And here's what's important. Right action doesn't mean perfect action. It means aligned action. You're taking strategic risks that move you toward your North Star, even if you're scared, even if it's uncomfortable. Research on behavioral activation, which is a core component of cognitive behavioral therapy, shows that action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait until you feel motivated and ready. You act, and then readiness follows. Step 5. Adapt and embrace the unknown. And this is where it gets a little messy and a little real. You take action, and reality doesn't match your plan. Your boss says no to the remote work request, but maybe offers a hybrid option that you hadn't considered. You set boundaries, and someone gets upset, but then maybe they respect you more. You test a new lifestyle, and it's harder than you thought, but also rewarding. This step is about course correcting in real time. You're not rigidly attached to the original plan. You're responsive to what's actually happening and making sure that you're holding up this lens of your North Star with every choice that you make. You're learning, you're adjusting, and you're experimenting. And this is where the magic happens, because you're building the capacity to navigate uncertainty and trust in your ability to do so. And that capacity is what creates long-term freedom and confidence. And step 6 is to carry on. At the end of the 90 days, you reevaluate what worked, what didn't, what do I want to keep, what do I want to adjust, and then you decide, what's my next 90-day experiment? Because lifestyle design isn't a one-time project, it's an ongoing practice. You're not trying to arrive at some perfect destination. You're consistently building a life that evolves with you, a life that you don't need to escape from because it's designed around what actually matters to you and who you really are. So let me give you an example of what this looks like. A therapist in private practice who was burned out and resentful. Her North Star, she wanted more space to recover and enjoy her weeks, starting with Fridays off to spend in nature with her dogs. She got clear, step 1, that what she wanted wasn't about quitting therapy. It was about redesigning her schedule. Step 2, she mapped out the numbers. If she raised her rate slightly and saw clients 4 days a week instead of 5, she could maintain her income and have that extra day. Step 3, she worked on her guilt around charging more and taking time off. And this was actually the hardest part. Her identity was wrapped up in being the affordable therapist who's always available to anyone who needs her. And step 4, she raised her rates, communicated the change to clients, and blocked off Fridays. Step 5, 2 clients left. She panicked, but then she ended up filling those spots with new clients at a higher rate and realized she was making the same income in less time. And finally, step 6. After 90 days, she evaluated. Fridays off were non-negotiable now. Her next experiment was shorter sessions, higher rates, and even more spaciousness in her days. So that's the process. 1 shift, 90 days, real transformation. Here's the pitfall people fall into. They try to do this alone. They think, I'm smart, I'm capable, I should be able to figure this out myself. But here's the truth. Your blind spots are your biggest obstacles. You can't see them yourself. That's why they're blind spots. And that's why the next video is so important. In video 5 of this series, we're talking about why you can't DIY your way out of this and what actually works instead. I'll break down the difference between information and transformation and show you exactly what kind of support creates real, lasting change. Click to watch video 5, and I'll see you over there.